since moving to Canada, I have had a lot of friends and family who live in the UK ask us, how did we do it? What was the timeline they want to leave? And some of these people have indefinite leave to remain. And it makes me wonder, what exactly are people looking for? Because since I've been living here in Canada, I can tell you for a fact that you really don't appreciate a place until you leave. And this is not to say that Canada is a bad place, but UK is also a great place to live, especially when you have your papers. Why do you want to live again? So I specifically made this video for people who are thinking on whether or not to leave the UK for Canada, and to help you understand the reason why you should stay in the UK, especially if your papers are already sorted. Because to be honest, I miss every single day of living in the UK. And if you're thinking about leaving, you might just want to hear my reasons why I think you should stay first. So let's get rolling. Hi, my name is Adiola and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, don't worry, I share content on fashion, lifestyle, and my journey as a new immigrant living in Canada. And for a little bit of context, I lived in England for 20 months and now I have been living in Canada for the past 8 months. So you see, I have a thing or two to say about living in both countries. And now let's talk about the UK, because I was convinced that living was the best decision. And here is the thing. When you step away, you start to see things a little bit differently. Whether you're thinking about living for a new country or just feeling frustrated with living life in the UK, I want to share my perspective. Because trust me, some things just can't be replaced. So here are some of the things that I truly miss about living in the UK, and these are the reasons why I think you should stay. And the first reason is the transportation system. Like, do I have to tell you? Now, for a little bit of context, I live in Nova Scotia, Bridgetown to be precise, and the transportation system is... We had to get a car when we came here, and to be honest, it wasn't the best type of car. We just had to get something to get us moving. But we lived in UK for 2 years and we didn't even have to worry about getting a car, because there's always a train, there's always a tram somewhere, there's always a bus. So if it's just those things, it makes life easy. You don't even have to think about anything, because within a very short proximity, you're just going to find a car, you're going to find a bus, you're going to find something. And because I live in Bridgetown, a very small town, I don't even have access to Uber. So no Uber, no Bolt, nothing. It's just, please, just stay where you are, okay? Now, this is different for those who are living in Ontario. I believe that the system is seamless over there, and some other big cities. I haven't been there before, but I am led to believe that this is the case. And if you're thinking of moving to cities like that, then that's okay. But to be honest, the public transport system in UK that even links to other parts of Europe, and you want to leave, think again. And the second reason for me is the nearness to home. I am a Nigerian, and that means that if I'm flying with British Airways, it is just 6 hours away. And in fact, when I was going to the UK, that was the airline that I flew, and it was just so seamless. And for someone like me who doesn't really like long flights, why would I want to be far from home? In fact, it is one of the reasons why I don't want to leave Nova Scotia, because it is close to the Atlantic and it is the closest place to the west side of Africa. And to be honest, if that is something that I want to consider, then that is it. Because knowing that you can easily go back home to see your family, it is priceless. And another thing is the culture. You would literally be walking on the street and you hear somebody who is speaking your tribe, someone who just says hi to you because they hear you talk, because they hear you speaking on the phone, and it is the language that you understand. And to me, that is so beautiful. Especially when I lived in Kent, I'll just be walking on the street and I'll see someone speaking Yoruba, and it's just like, wow, there is a lot of us here. And to be honest, that is something that I love so much. I haven't seen a lot of my people here, and sometimes you just get like, I am so bored. But in the UK, it wasn't like that. You just always see someone that is your tribe. You just always see someone that is your brother, and you'll be able to relate and all of that. So see, this is the second reason why you should stay back home, because you will see your people very well. And again, this is because I am living in Bridgetown. It doesn't apply to all of Canada. We're just trying to build our own community here, and we'll get there definitely. And the third reason for me is the fashion sense. Please, I never thought that I would miss Primark the way that I do. Just go to the high street. There are a lot of brands where you can shop from. But here in Canada, everything is limited. And according to what I understand, most of these brands, you have to buy them from winners. I mean, I may be wrong because I've not really explored Canada, right? But there are not a lot of brands here. And I believe that the things they sell in Canada and UK are so different. But, if you're a fashion person, if you're a fashion girly, if you're a fashion man, please stay in UK, because that is the headquarters of clothes. I don't need to tell you now, I don't need to tell you, because now it's just Shein that is saving me, and I'm just trying to be very objective with the way I shop with Shein, because sometimes you know how it can be with the quality now. So if fashion is a big deal for you, sit your butt back in UK. The fourth thing for me is the healthcare system, and you would agree with me that a lot of us have different perspectives on NHS. Some people believe that the system is good, while some believe that it's bad. But I'm just going to speak from my own perspective. During my stay in the UK, it was a seamless experience for me, and one that always resonates with me was when my son had a medical emergency and he lost consciousness. At the time, we're just been a month in Canada, and I immediately dialed the emergency. To be honest, it took them less than 5 minutes to get to us, and they attended to my son, took him to the hospital, did everything they were supposed to do. It was just a seamless experience, and we didn't have to pay a dime. Now I understand that he was an infant, and maybe that is the reason why he was prioritized. And to be honest, there are other times where his sister was sick and we had to wait for hours, but the bottom line is we were attended to. And for somebody who lives in Nova Scotia, at the moment, I have lived here for the past 8 months and I do not have access. Well, I can't say I don't have access, right? I would say that I haven't been assigned any doctor. We don't have any family doctor. We don't have anything. So in case anything happens, we're going to call the emergency to come pick us up, and guess what? We are going to pay for the ride. We are going to pay for the emergency ride. So you won't even want to be sick. You won't even want any emergency to occur. But it wasn't the case for us in UK, because even the ambulance that came to pick my son, we didn't pay a dime. Nobody asked us anything. And if this is one reason why somebody would choose to say maybe you have a medical concern or anything, my sisters and brothers, please just sit down in the UK, because let's just leave it at that. Now, if you are a social butterfly, please don't come to Canada, because it is so slow paced here. And in Halifax, I don't think they even have up to 10 clubs. I may be mistaken. It's not like I have gone to any club or anything like that, but I don't think it is a lot. Now, this will be different for those who are going to Ontario, going to British Columbia and all of that, right? But if you are a social butterfly, please stay in the UK, because you attend a lot of parties there. You go to a lot of clubs there, but over here is a little bit slow paced. And if it was left to me, I don't care. I don't mind, because I am an ambivert. I'm not really like the social type, but I love to see that sometimes people can just go out. I mean, I've gone to birthday parties, I've gone to other social events like that when I am in the mood to do that, right? But ultimately, if your social life is like here, you want to sit your ass down in the UK. And the next thing for me is the ancient architectural design. Those designs are cute. The ancientness, if there's a word like that, the ancientness of the structures in the UK is so lovely. And to be very honest, I miss it. I know that there are some parts in Canada, I think in British Columbia, that have structures like that are ancient, and it is just so beautiful, because it gives a really nice scenery. Your pictures come out great, and it just really speaks to history. And this is one thing that I really like about living in the UK. So if you're particular about the structure, the architectural design, then you are going to miss it. So sit down in the UK. And if you love to travel, If you know that you want to visit 10 countries in like 2 weeks, sit down in the UK, because of course, you know, now you have access to European countries. I'm not saying that you don't have access here, right? Because over there in the UK, it is much more easier. When you get Schengen visa, it is easy for you to quickly move and hit your target on your travel plans. Because over here it's just like well, over here, if you still want to travel, of course you can. The North America and some other countries as well, but it is just easy to quickly access all of Europe when you are in the UK. And if that is something you are really particular about, sit down in the UK. And I never thought that I would miss this one that I'm about to say. It is the last one, but I really miss it so much, and it is just so funny. Guess what? Guess. I miss the English accent. Yes. I miss the accent, like, hi, you right? I missed hearing that. And to be honest, I really wish that my children can just not forget that accent, because it is so sweet, it is so polished, it is so fancy. And for the I'm not talking about Scouse, for the part where we lived in Nottingham and we lived in Kent, it was like proper English, and I miss it. I miss it so much. Ah, God. Let me try to see if I can still form accent. Hey, mate. And the moment when it really hit me that I really miss living in the UK was when we had difficulties getting our local food. I didn't realize that food can make somebody feel depressed, and I don't like using the word depression, but I don't know, maybe I should just say sad, because we live 2 hours away from civilization, for a lack of a better word. We live 2 hours away from where we can get African food. And when we got exhausted on the one we had, we were just eating chicken drumstick, eating potato. We got tired of it. So if you know that you cannot do without amala, you cannot do without eba, you cannot do without yam and all those things, please just sit down in UK. Because apart from the accessibility to local food, the price in the UK as compared to Canada is way more expensive. Here, you know that it is longer for them to bring the food down here. The tariff and everything just makes food so expensive. I bought a bag of crayfish for like almost $40. And I'm like, what's happened? Because it is not the case in the UK. There was a day I was missing yam so much. I couldn't even explain it. Like, please, if you like food like me, and you know that it is really important to you to eat your local dishes, just stay in the UK, okay? At the end of the day, people often leave the UK thinking that they would find something better, and every country has its own pros and cons. And sometimes what you're leaving behind, it is worth more than you think. Now, I'm not saying don't chase new experiences. I'm not saying don't chase what is most important for your family, because moving can be really amazing. But before you leave, be sure that you are leaving for the right reasons, and not that you're just running for something. Because at the end of the day, if you're running for something, something will be running towards you, no matter the country where you are. But trust me, once you leave, there will be moments when you second guess your decision. And for some people, those regrets can be really hard to shake off. And at the end of the day, UK is always going to be home for me. So if you're leaving, make sure you are doing so for the right reason. And if you've already left, well, I hope this reminds you that you are not alone in missing those little things. And right now, I want to hear from you. If you've ever left the UK for another country, do you miss the UK? What exactly do you miss in the UK? Please leave them down in the comment section and let me know your thoughts. Now, if you found this useful, I know you'll find other videos useful like this and this. So, see you next time.